What's up everyone, Kyle here. You're watching Drivin and Vibin. Today I'm going to be installing some MORryde steps on the Argosy, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. I am super excited about getting these steps installed because they are high quality, super stable steps, and it's one of the last things we're putting on this Airstream. So I can't wait to get the whole thing done, but the steps are a big piece of it. But to kind of give you an overview of how we got to this point with the MORryde steps, it all started back whenever we were looking months ago for traditional trailer steps. We saw some typical mounting underneath steps that you kind of pull out. What we have on the Fiberstream, that's the same type of step. And we bought one on eTrailer, mocked it up to see how it would work. And with our 4-inch lift on this Airstream Argosy, it just seemed like the step was still too far from the ground and too far from the door. And it was a little wobbly, so it did not encourage us to go forward on that path. But right around that time, we met up with Jason and Ray from the Getaway Couple out in the Arizona desert. And they showed us their MORryde steps that fold up into the door, come down on a hinge, and sit tightly on the ground. So the steps are super stable. And they were just wondering why we didn't even look into the MORryde steps. So shout out to those guys for introducing us to the MORryde step. So we kind of then got in a conversation with MORryde to see if they are even used on Airstreams, because there was absolutely no information about MORryde steps and Airstreams out there on the internet. I come to find out that it is doable. They have a mod for Airstreams, and today I'm going to be showing you what that is. Take the step out, we'll be installing it, and see how it functions with our 4-inch lifted Airstream. Hopefully get us a stable step up to the door, and safe for all of us, especially with Olivia and having a new kid on the way. We want something that is easy for all of us to climb in and out of the Airstream. So let's get to work. I'll get the package out and show you what we're working with. All right, y'all. So these are the MORryde steps. And I know there is no doubt in anyone's mind that these steps are going to be more secure than those standard push underneath steps that most travel trailers have. So just to kind of give you an overview of the steps, just from looking at them, I mean, they feel super rugged. So they have a hinge right here. And this is gonna mount inside the door. So whenever we're traveling, the stairs will come up and pull inside the door. The only downside we've heard at all about MORryde steps is if you forget to brush them off before you put them up, you might get a little dirt in your rig. But other than that, each step, both from where the door is, the threshold is, down to the last step, has this textured material on it, great for gripping. There are going to be a few mods we have to do whenever I install this step, but I think we should go ahead and see how it looks, and let's get this puppy installed because I'm ready for some good steps on the Argosy. All right, so the steps look pretty good mocked up, but the biggest thing that has to happen, and this is very unique to Airstreams in general, whether it's an Argosy or almost all Airstreams down the line, is they have this lip right here that I guess acts as a barrier to keep the elements out when the door's shut. One of the mods that has to happen in order to install these MORryde steps on an Airstream is I need to notch out this small little lip so the steps can fit flushly down in there. But beyond that, MORI does make the steps to match up perfectly with these Airstream ridges and how they fit. So they do have the capability to do that. But this notch is just the one thing that we need to modify real quick. So let me get onto that, and then we can actually get into installing these steps. I think it's gonna be pretty easy, but knock on wood. All right, I never like using that angle grinder. It is such an aggressive tool, and you have to be using so much muscle to control it. So, but it did the job. So, but I'm not recommending using the angle grinder for things like that. But there we go. I'm gonna mock up these steps now and just see how they fit with that lip out of the way. So let me do that real quick, and let's see what we're cooking with. All right, the folks at MORI have been so helpful, especially with this Airstream version of their step. This step right here, the one you see, is only available on Airstreams and for Airstreams. It's kind of a sleeker, more vintage looking step as opposed to the ones they make for the fifth wheel, even though the functionality is the same. My contact at MORI said, you know, mock them up, put them in position, and then see if the door closes. And then if all of that works, it's just gonna take 5 screws to screw it into place. So I shut the door once and it worked well. Now I got to screw in this piano hinge on the back. Let's do it. All right, y'all, so I got the first screw in place, and the key to this whole process is just test and test and test to make sure everything's still fitting appropriately before everything gets permanently in place. So with one screw in place, and with these door brackets adjusted to the correct distance away from the door so they catch, now I want to test and see if the door can close, and it can. So it looks like in that position it can close. And now, just for good measure, I'm going to see if the door will shut as well. All right, steps down and door shut. There we go. Looks like I'm gonna install these next 4 screws, give you a close-up of what it looks like, and then give her a test. All right, so the steps are now installed properly. It screwed into the platform and adjusted correctly so it'll catch on the lip of the door whenever we lift it up. But now I need to make these extended a little bit because you can see they're not touching the ground. So it's pretty easy to extend these things. There we go, let's see. All right, so we've got one leg making solid contact with the ground. I'm gonna do this one now. There we go. All right, I guess now it's time for the test. Let me step you back a little bit, and I'm gonna just walk up it regularly, and let's see how it handles the weight. Not too jump up and down on it. All right, guys, well, hey, you saw it here. I walked up it regularly, and then I jumped on it. And the difference between these and the standard kind of push under steps that most Airstreams and most travel trailers in general have, it's a world difference. If you struggle with getting up in your rig and you don't like the wobbliness of a typical trailer step, please check out the MORryde system. Like I said earlier, Jason and Ray from the Getaway Couple really turned us on to their system inside the fifth wheel. And it's awesome to see that there's an option for travel trailers too, specifically Airstreams. Steps like this have not ever been a standard option in Airstreams, and it's just now becoming an option for Airstreams to have these steps that are already modified to be able to be installed more easily. So give MORryde a look, because I just think as far as safety is concerned, the steps are worlds different. So that's the MORryde step, y'all. I'll drop some links below if you want to do any more research. But remember, we got the Airstream reveal coming up this weekend. So stay tuned, and we'll give you a tour of the whole completed rig. Until next time, see y'all later.